Right then, it is almost 4:30. And now the session begins, right? And first of all, good evening to all sitting here, but a huge number sitting elsewhere. Good evening to them as well. In this hot weather, most are attending in the online mode, right? And as you know, today's session is on history optional subject, right? And many those attending offline or in online mode, I presume they're having a history as a background subject. But still, you will find in every session, there are about 30-40% students attending history optional classes. They don't have history background. Some are engineers, some are even doctors, some are from management background, etc., etc. There's a diversity. Okay, but of course, about 50-60% people are those who are having history background. All right. Now, in today's session, my plan is to discuss certain fundamental aspects of the basic nature of history as an optional subject in civil services exam, plus the class pattern here. That means the class pattern of history optional subject here at NEXT IAS. So I will be discussing these two aspects broadly. Is it okay? So let's start. Take a look. I have some slides for you because through slides we can make the things more organized and we can make it faster as well. Now, take a look at this. I hope all of you are aware that every optional subject has two papers and each paper carries 250 marks. Okay? So no need to discuss all these basic things. Same is applicable to history optional subject also. So here in this slide, what you find is the bifurcation, history optional subject paper 1, and paper 1 consists of two sections, that is ancient Indian history and medieval Indian history. Okay? What is ancient, what is medieval? I'm not going to discuss those things in this session, right? And paper 2 consists of again two sections. First is modern Indian history, and that includes post 1947 history. But one thing about the post 1947 history is that this history, that is post 1947 history, this is not till present. This is mainly (1947) to 1964. This period is commonly known as first phase of independence. Okay, so post 1947 history is mainly this. Though we have a few topics that go beyond 1964, but mainly it is this. And the second section is modern world history. And modern world history, you might be knowing, modern world history begins in 16th century. But our syllabus is not from 16th century. Our syllabus is 18th century onwards till the decade of 2000. Okay, so this way there are four sections constituting two papers, and marks wise 250 marks this side, 250 marks this side, and you can bifurcate accordingly. That is 125 marks for ancient Indian history, 125 for medieval, and same applicable here. Okay, this is very clear. Now, let's move on. Take a look at this slide. See the heading here. High degree of commonality in syllabus, questions, and books of history optional and GS history. Why this is important, why this aspect is important? Because say, GS is compulsory here, okay? And in GS, there is one section that is history, all right? And you have history optional subject. And history section is there in GS as well. Now, what I want to focus here is that the whole history, what you prepare in your history optional subject, that is there in GS. Even more history is there, I should say. Just now I have said that modern Indian history includes post 1947 history, but that is mainly Nehruvian era, that is 1947, 1964. But in the case of general studies, the modern Indian history is the entire modern Indian history plus post 1947, and that is till present. I should show you this way. Take a look at this again. Modern Indian history includes post 1947 history, okay? This is there in GS as well. This entire is in GS as well. The difference here is that this post 1947 is this one. This post 1947 is 1947 to present. This means till today, till 2025, for example. Whereas in history optional, this is 1947 to 1964. Mainly, this shows you have more history in GS. I should tell you something more. In GS history, you have one section that is, have you started earlier? Still people are coming? Or you are late? Two possibilities there. We have started earlier or you are late. I think you are late slightly. Okay. So I will repeat that. Just wait. Okay. You have a section, Indian heritage and culture, what is popularly known as art and culture in GS. Okay. And art and culture is there in history optional as well. But art and culture in history is here, and here. That's all. You don't have modern art and culture in history optional subject. But in the case of GS history, you have art and culture here as well. I hope you understand. This shows you have more history in GS than in history optional subject. Many of you are not aware of this. Now, history optional subject is what? History optional subject is this. Paper 1, Ancient Indian History, Medieval Indian History. Paper 2, Modern Indian History, that includes post-1947 history, and Modern World History, that is 18th century to decade of 2000. All these four are there in GS. Ancient Indian History is there in Prelim and Main, that represent ancient art and culture. Medieval Indian History is in Prelim, plus medieval art and culture is in Main. Modern is in Prelim, modern is in Main. That includes post 1947. Plus modern art and culture is also there. Modern world history, same syllabus is there. In GS, if we have seen the syllabus, it is mentioned from 18th century, major events from 18th century. So this entire is there, plus you have more. And what is more in GS? One is this. This is more in GS. Rather, I should write in this in a different way. What is more in GS? So more in GS is 1964 till present. This is more in GS. Whereas in history optional subjects, post 1947 is mainly 1947, 64. This is beyond 64 as well. Till present means till 2025. If you're writing exam next year till 2026, it's something like this. Okay? So this is one thing more in GS. Second thing more in GS is related to this again. That is modern art and culture. This is not there in history optional subject. This means in GS history, this is there, this is there, this is there, this is there, plus this and this. Whereas in history optional subject, only 1, 2, 3, 4 are there. This 1 and 2 are absent in history optional subject. This means you have more history in GS. But many are not aware of this. So what I want to say here is that anyway you are preparing history optional subject without knowing that you are preparing it, without taking any notice of it. Then the question is then what is the difference in history optional subject and in GS history? The difference is that in history optional subject you have historiography involved. Historiography refers to various approaches to study history. Those who are having history background, they understand this word, I think, right? So historiography is absent here. That is one difference. For example, French Revolution you have to do in GS history, you have to do in history optional as well. But historiography of French Revolution is not required in GS history, but this is required in history optional. But certain historiographies are required in GS as well. For example, the nature of the revolt of 1857, historiography. This is required in GS also. You might have seen question in GS. Throw light on the nature of the revolt of 1857. Now, how can you throw light? Of course, in the light of the historiography. Some says this was a mutiny, some says it was a national revolt, some says it was a civil rebellion. This is the way you have to write. Okay? And second is sometimes the depth also. So sometimes you will find that there are certain issues that are not normally occur as a question in GS. But the other way also. There are certain issues, they never occur as a question in history optional subject, but they occur in GS. Why? Because the history optional subject is more or less defined. Its syllabus is more or less defined. Okay? GS syllabus is slightly vague. Just broad outlines given. It becomes very vague. History optional syllabus is defined. So you have topics mentioned, issues mentioned, themes mentioned. Of course, you have to delve into that as well because even you have certain issues, themes implicit within the things what are mentioned in the syllabus. That is always there. But GS is very vague. Since it is very vague, it's not well defined, then there is a scope of questions on anything, everything. For example, I think last year there was a question on Rabindranath Tagore. Now the question on Rabindranath Tagore is not possible in history optional subject. Why? Because this is nowhere mentioned. I hope you are getting my point. So when everything is mentioned, it becomes quite defined. So, okay, you understand the whole parameter, the extent, what you have to work on. In GS, syllabus is defined in 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines. It becomes vague. Then we have to work on everything, even petty events, small events that never occur as a question in history optional subject, but they could occur as a question in GS. Plus, in GS, you have prelim also. In prelim also, you have history as one section. Then so many factual details get involved. So many small events get involved. I give you some examples. Like in history optional subject. If you have to study tribal revolts, for example, in modern Indian history, so that is mentioned. One is Birsa Munda revolt, one is Santhal revolt, one is Kol revolt. That's it, over. So if any question has to occur in history optional subject from tribal revolt, there would be from these three only. But think of the study of tribal revolts for GS Prelim. I think 30, 40 you have to remember. Don't you think so? Yes. Overall, if you consider on balance, what I personally think that there are certain things you have to do in a history optional subject, not required in GS. There are certain things you have to do in GS history, not required in history optional subject. So on balance, this is roughly the same. So my logic is, through this aspect, what I want to say that you have already started preparing for history optional subject in certain ways because the entire history syllabus is there in GS as well, even more. Okay? Is it fine? This, I want to say to just infuse a sense of confidence in you that anyway you are doing it. The only extra is required to do it from the point of view of the optional subject, related questions, and the finer aspects, many finer aspects are involved, approaches to right answers and all. That's all. Similar topics you have to do. For example, I have said Revolt of 1857. So you have to do in GS, you have to do in history. I have said French Revolution, you have to do in GS, you have to do in history. World Wars, you have to do in GS, you have to do in history. Mahatma Gandhi, you have to do in GS, you have to do in history. So difference is what? Difference is depth sometimes historiography, sometimes the issues. Issues means sometimes we'll find even very small issues could occur as a question in GS. There is not a possibility in history optional subject. I'm going to give you an example. I've given one example like Tagore, for example. I will give you more example. Second thing is, there are certain issues, they are of slightly higher standard. So normally we don't expect that could be a question in GS. For example, suppose, do you think the French Revolution was a bourgeois revolution? I don't think this question could occur in GS history, GS world history. But this could be a question in history of. I hope you are getting my point. Okay? Second example. This is one example that could occur in history, cannot occur in GS or should not occur in GS. Second example, that could be a question in GS, but cannot be a question in history. For example, throw light on the circumstances leading to Surat split. How did it impact Indian national movement? Though you have to do in history as well, this thing. But we shouldn't expect this kind of simple question in history often. Particularly nowadays, the pattern is such. Questions are becoming complex in every optional subject, even in GS as well. I hope you're getting through these examples. Is it fine? Now, what I have mentioned here is a high degree of commonality in syllabus, questions, and books of history optional and GS history. That means there is a high degree of resemblance in all the three things. Syllabus, I have said so many things, even question pattern also. You will find if you have a look at past year questions of GS, main, first paper, history related questions and history optional question, you will find there are many questions, they are similar. And A very interesting fact I want to present before you. Many a time you will find the same, exactly same question occurs in GS, same question occurs in history optional subject. Exactly same question, even same statement also. And what is more interesting, even in the same year, we just follow that. Same year, same question in both. I remember certain question I'm telling you. One question occurs in GS. Uh, Stupa architecture using folk narratives and symbols expounded Buddhist ideals. Same statement occurs in history optional also as a question. Second question, what I remember. RIN mutiny proved to be a last nail in British coffin. Comment. Same question occur in history optional, same question occurred in GS. Third example. Sangam literature throws light on the cultural tradition of extreme south. Discuss. Same question occurred in history optional, same question occurred in GS. So many a time you will find, what I want to say is that around 50-60% if you consider, so similarity is there. Similar standard they are following. In fact, the case is what? General study, is known as general studies, but I don't think this is general now. It has become highly specialized. I think you have seen the questions. Don't you think that word general is misnomer now? It has no meaning. UPSC is supposed to change this. It should be specialize their studies. Have a look at the question in any section. If we have a look at the question of geography in GS, its standard is similar to geography optional question. Question of economy similar to economics optional question. Question of IR similar to Pol Science question. Question of history similar to the standard of history. That's why this distinction between optional and GS getting blurred gradually. And that is the reason, I think one thing you must be aware of, that in GS normally we'll find that people have very average mark, normally what they fetch. Are you aware of this? Out of 250, if you get 100, it's considered a good mark. 115 around, it's a very good marks. Still it is poor if you consider your school days. So don't you think 115 is a poor marks out of 250? But here it is considered very good. And in case you get 130, 140 sometimes, so it's excellent. You make a record. Why? Why so? Why such poor marking? The only answer here is that the level is getting higher, higher, higher. UPSC is trying to copy the optional standard in GS, making questions complex, trying to surprise their students, and a student preparation level is quite lower. For example, we are preparing at this level, questions are at this level, most of them, so there is a big gap. Then finally what happens is when we enter the examination hall, many questions are out of blue. So out of 20, you have 20 questions you have to attempt in GS, you must be knowing every paper. Out of 20, you will find those who are getting 110, 115, that is considered a very good mark, they are not attempting more than 10, 12 properly. Rest is just general answer, just a story, that is just a psychological satisfaction, that since questions are there, you have some ideas, so you're supposed to write. But the actual marks you are getting in only 10, 12 around, that is the reason you end up getting 100, 110, 50. Otherwise, your marks would be shooting up. It would be becoming 150, 160, 170, 180 in case you are attempting all the 20 very well. Don't you think this is logic? Is it okay? Now, one more thing, I have written here books also. 4 sections are there, right? And 4 very popular books are there. They are all past series NCERT. One is by R.S. Sharma, Ancient India, must be knowing. Second is Satish Chandra, Medieval India. Third is Bipin Chandra, Modern India. And fourth is Anwarul Haq, Modern World History. The four very, very good books, very effective, plenty of information in a very small size and lucidly written. And those books are the basic books you should follow in history optional subject as well. And those are the basic books for GS as well. So with respect to syllabus, question and books, there is a great degree of resemblance between history optional subject and GS history. Yes. And you can raise your queries and questions and all. Always welcome. Yes. Mhm. Yes. So one question what you have raised is, because many are online, most are online student attending this session. So I repeat the question. One question has been raised in the class, that is, that if you prepare history optional subject, do you need to prepare a GS separately? Answer is very simple here. Take a look. This is history optional subject syllabus, right? Here, whatever you cover, that is enough for GS. So nothing required. But there are certain things extra in GS that you will have to cover separately. As I have said here, art and culture. So that is extra. That is not a part of history syllabus. You will have to cover that. Then here, post 1947 history till present, that you will have to cover. Plus, since GS is there in prelims, so many factual aspects, the small events that won't be covered in history optional subjects, those you will have to cover. So three things extra you will have to cover in GS apart from history optional subject. One is modern art and culture. Two, 1964 till present. And three, small events in all sections. Okay? But whatever you cover here, for example, you cover art and culture in ancient part, in history of. That is enough for GS as well. You cover art and culture medieval. That is enough for GS. You cover modern Indian history. I mean, if you consider till independence, that is enough for GS. You cover world history, the same syllabus in GS, that is enough for GS. Is it fine? Right. Any other issue you have related to what I have discussed? So this aspect is very clear. Okay. Why this aspect is important? I mean, in the open session, why we should discuss that? Because GS history is compulsory. So you should join them. You shouldn't do, separate preparation. Separate preparation is required only for those things that are not there in history of. This is what I have said just now. Now the next. Take a look. Absence of typical theories and thinkers. This is a big advantage in history optional subject. Say, you consider any popular optional subject today. Other popular optional subject other than history, like pol science, sociology, anthropology, geography, PABAT. They are the 5 other popular optional subjects, right? You will find in every these subject in the first paper is full of typical theories and thinkers. A lot of theories and a lot of thinkers are there. When theories and thinkers are there, so a study becomes slightly complex. Things become slightly philosophical as well. That's sometimes trouble also. Sometimes it becomes difficult to understand. Sometimes it becomes difficult to conceive the essence and write accordingly. In the case of history optional subject, we don't have any typical theories and thinkers. History first paper is not theory and thinker as you find in all the other popular optional subjects. History first paper is what? Ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history. Now you think, in ancient Indian history, do you find any typical theories and thinkers? If you are having some knowledge of, no. Medieval Indian history, typical theories and thinkers. You have a few philosophers like Buddha, Shankaracharya, that's all. In modern Indian history, do you find typical theories, thinkers are there? No. Okay, in modern world history, typical theories and thinkers, a few thinkers are there, like Karl Marx, Rousseau, Immanuel Kant, just three are there. But theories are not there. And regarding these thinkers also, related to these thinkers also, we have some basic issues. For example, Karl Marx is a part of syllabus in sociology also. Karl Marx is a part of syllabus in philosophy also. Karl Marx is a part of syllabus in pol science also. There we'll find Karl Marx, the topic is very complex. A lot of theories and thinkers are to be studied and they are to be connected with other thinkers also. This is not the case in history. In history, Karl Marx means simply his interpretation of history and his interpretation of changes in history. That's all. So certain ideas of Karl Marx we have to study. Like he said, revolution is important for change. Revolution is an essential means for change. So he urged the labor class all over the world, they should unite and bring about a revolution against the capitalist class in order to destroy capitalist system that is exploiting them. I mean, this is the main theme. So this kind of thing is not complex theory or thinker. Even in Rousseau, for example, Rousseau you have to study in pol science also. But Rousseau is very complex there. Here Rousseau means certain ideas of Rousseau. Simple. So this is a big advantage in history optional subject. Since this is not there, so you save a lot of time. Okay? So this is the next aspect what I have discussed. Now the next one is absence of current issues. Now, you consider any popular subject, I have named many. In every popular subject, current issues are involved immensely. If you have to study sociology, anthropology, pol science, PABAT, anywhere, geography, a lot of current is there. So your approach becomes twofold. One, you have to study a standard books on the topics mentioned, plus you have to keep on linking that with the current development also. So you have to study newspapers and magazines for them also. In history, do you think current issues are involved? What is your idea? Many of you are having history background as well. Any current is there? Some say current is there. We should incorporate current and we should consider some current development. I should tell you one thing. If we were to define what is history, the simplest way is history is a record of past events. Whatever has happened is history. What is happening today is not history. What is happening today becomes history tomorrow. Current is what? What is happening today. So in history, you don't have any current issue. I have seen why I am focusing on this aspect because I have seen people. They are under a conception, there's a misconception in fact, that current issues are there. Maybe some teachers have said, I don't know. And they keep on incorporating and they keep on studying certain things. For example, sometimes you will find in the newspaper that some excavations have taken place, and those excavations have yielded some objects. For example, excavation recently of some sites of Indus Valley civilization and certain objects discovered. My point is, that it doesn't make any difference. We have already discovered millions of objects. For example, pottery and pottery pieces. We have discovered millions. Now, as a result of recent excavation, what has happened? Some more pieces we have discovered, that's it. We have discovered huge number of tools. In recent excavation, we have discovered some more tools. Second thing. Second kind of current you will find in history is that some claims are there. Like recently, some claims are there that they have deciphered Indus script or Harappan script or Indus Valley script. Okay? Recently in news that Aryans were indigenous people. They did not come from outside. Now, my point is, these are not the new things. Research has been going on. Many efforts were made long back also to decipher Indus script. And this claim that the Aryans, they did not come from outside, rather they were autochthones, they were indigenous people. This is not a new thing, it's the old view. For example, Mr. A presented this view long back, 4 decades back. 3 decades back, Mr. B also presented the same view. 2 decades back, Mr. C presented. Recently, Mr. D and E presented the same view. It doesn't make any difference. This is basically what? Historiography. I hope you are getting my point. Okay? And claims are not established till it is accepted by majority of historians. Research done, claims made, presented before the body of historians, and in general, acceptance is there. If this happens, in this case, and this happens when? This happens when there is acceptance, general acceptance by the historians. Only then we'll find some change in the study of some topic here and there. But this is very rare. And there are many things in the news related to history. They are never important for our exam. For example, I think you might be understanding my indication. Like the name of this site was not this. So we should change the name of this site. Quite in news. This was not mosque, this was initially a temple. These kind of things are never important for civil services exam. This is just something for the drawing room discussion, not for the preparation of the civil services exam. So finally, what I want to say is that you don't have to consider any current here. And in case any current thing is there and that becomes well established and there is a possibility you could have a question, I will bring that before you in the class. So don't have to be fussy about it. Is it very clear? Right. Now the next is a lot of repetitions. This is also a very, very important aspect as regards the preparation of history optional subject. You get the meaning of this? Now, one thing what you have come to know, that in history optional subject, there is no current issue. When there is no current issue, this simply means things are fixed and static. What has happened has happened. You cannot create anything new here. You cannot add anything new. Okay? For example, we say in a particular phase, 1 happened, 2 happened, 3 happened, 4 happened, 5 happened. 5. You cannot add 6 here. Cannot add 7 because you don't have any current issues involved. This is all the record of past events. This means the total extent of your preparation is these 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Logic says that if any question has to occur from this area, question would be from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's it. And if we have the knack, if we conceive the standard of the question, we can conceive that out of 1 and out of 2, 3, 4, 5, what issues could become a question. I give you an example. Suppose take a popular topic, for example. Suppose Mahatma Gandhi, for example, everyone understand. Okay? Now, Mahatma Gandhi, related to Mahatma Gandhi, there are hundreds of issues. Do you think you should prepare hundreds of issues on Mahatma Gandhi? Answer is no. What should we prepare? Because we are not preparing Mahatma Gandhi in general. We are preparing Mahatma Gandhi in history optional subject for civil services exam, where there is defined a standard. So Mahatma Gandhi in history optional subject for civil services exam means only certain specific standard issues are there. We should prepare, and out of that, all question will occur. And nothing new can be created. So out of that, all question would occur. Okay. This exam is there for decades. On Mahatma Gandhi, many times questions have occurred. What is the choice with the question setter? Can they create anything new on Mahatma Gandhi? Of course, no. Out of those specific standard issues, suppose there are 10 in number. Out of those 10, they have to pick up anything for the question. They don't have any other choice. There is no current on Mahatma Gandhi. They cannot create anything new. Whatever Mahatma Gandhi did, over. And Mahatma Gandhi is no more. So what is the choice of the question setter, you think? And question setter cannot pick up any simple issue out of Mahatma Gandhi. For example, I am giving you some issues. One issue related to Mahatma Gandhi. Throw light on Mahatma Gandhi's Champaran Satyagraha. This is one issue related to Mahatma Gandhi, but this would never occur as a question in history optional, nor even in GS. At the most, Champaran Satyagraha may be a question in GS Prelim. That's all. I think you're getting my point. Okay? So this is one issue which can never occur as a question. Now, what kind of issues could occur as a question? A specific, I'm using the term a standard. A standard why? Rather of higher standard. Why higher standard? You have to consider the exam, civil services exam. So as per the demand here in this exam, which UPSC has defined that syllabus is this, but the question standard should be this. Question standard should not be this. Question standard should not be throw light on the life of Mahatma Gandhi. No, never. I think you're getting my point. If you study biography of Mahatma Gandhi, this will never help you answering the question. So what are these specific standard issues? I'm giving you some example to make you understand. For example, Mahatma Gandhi restrained mass movement, yet he retained his popularity. How do you explain this? So issue is what? Mahatma Gandhi restrained mass movement, yet he retained his popularity. We can call this one a standard issue for the civil services exam history option. Mahatma Gandhi, and you can ask me, how this is a standard? How can we say this is a standard? This you can see on the basis of your knowledge of the pattern of the question and on the knowledge of the topic Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi you must be knowing his great contribution to Indian national movement was creation of a multi-class movement. Okay, he turned Indian national movement into a multi-class movement. So he was a great votary or the advocate or representative of people's movement. And so this issue is a standard, and he restrained it. He put certain constant on the mass movement. Still, he was very popular. I hope you are getting my point. For example, second issue. There was an air of mystic around Gandhi if we consider his ideas and his acts. Do you agree? This second example of a standard issue for civil services exam. This way, 10, 15 such issues are there, they are fixed. Our problem here is what? That while we prepare, we are not aware of these issues, so we prepare Mahatma Gandhi in general. So we prepare Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad, civil disobedience movement, Quit India movement, this, so many things we prepare. Then what happens? Maybe we are missing certain standard issues. Maybe out of 15 we are preparing 5, but 10 are missing. So if any question occur out of those 10, then you get delivered in the examination hall. This is possible only in history optional subject, in no other optional subject. Why? Because here everything is fixed, static. Mahatma Gandhi means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, suppose 20. That's all. Jawaharlal Nehru means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Buddha means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over. Suppose you start preparing biography of Buddha. Okay, this will help you in GS Prelims. Suppose you prepare basic teachings of Buddha. It's unnecessarily wastage of time. Such question will not occur. So we should be aware of the specific standard issues related to Buddha that could occur as a question, and they are fixed. Now you get my logic. So Mahatma Gandhi, for example, there are 10 fixed issues. Buddha, 5 fixed issues. Russian Revolution, 10 fixed issues. Chinese Communist Revolution, 15 fixed issues. American Civil War, 10 fixed issues. Revolt of 1857, 15 fixed issues. I mean, a standard. Your whole focus should be this. And the question setter, they don't have choice here. An exam is being conducted for decades. On Revolt of 1857, there are 10 fixed issues, and those 10 have already occurred over the last 50, 60 years. So what is the choice with question setter? If question setter has to pick up again a question from Revolt of 1857, he or she is supposed to pick up only out of those 10 that have already occurred as a question. So possibilities of repetition. Same thing getting repeated over and over again. And what is very interesting, I mean, maybe you're not aware, even statements are repeated in history. You find one statement as a question in one particular year. After 2, 3 years, the same statement is the question. Exactly the same. I'm giving you some example. Like one example I've given you. Gandhi restrained mass movement, yet he retained his popularity. This statement occurred as a question once, then twice, thrice, 4 times. Why? I have given you the logic. Okay, I've given you more example. Do you think the revolt of 1857 was nationalist? If not, what was its nature? This occurred once, again after a few years, twice, again after a few years, thrice. Sometimes wordings are changed, essence is the same. I'm giving more example of a statement particularly. Battle of Sedan. This is a world history statement. Battle of Sedan uh, brought a fall of a mistress and gave rise to a master in Europe. The same statement has occurred once, after a few years, twice, thrice, more statement. British conquered India in a fit of absent-mindedness. Comment. Same statement. Once, twice, thrice. I hope you're getting my point. And why this happens in history, you understand the logic. So two logic are there. One, there is no currents. Nothing extra, nothing new can be created here. And two, only standard issues are picked up as a question, no basic issue. And standard issues are not many. But there is a fixed number of that related to every topic. Even very popular topic, for example, suppose independence of India. Everyone knows independence of India. That happened in 15th August 1947, for example. Right? And they prepare circumstances leading to independence and all those. But here they are fixed specific questions of higher standard. For example, do you think the Indians seized freedom or freedom was voluntarily given by the British? Comment. So this is one fixed. Okay. Do you think partition of India was inevitable? This is a fixed specific standard issue. Why did Indian National Congress accept partition? This is the fixed. This way, I think 6-7 standard issues if you prepare, if any question has to occur from independence of India, they would be out of this. And this is the basic problem in the preparation of everyone. My point of view is very simple here. In the classes also my focus is this, that I just focus on this. In the very beginning I tell you, see, you don't have to do research in history. You don't have to teach history in future. The only aim of yours here is that the question that occur in the exam, minimum 5 you're supposed to write out of 8, that should be within your reach and you should write excellent answer on that. For that, only 2 things are required. One, you should be well aware of those specific standard issues in every topic. And 2, you must be aware of writing excellent answer. That's all. Rest, whatever we are doing or we do, that is complete wastage of time. But don't you think, you consider your preparation. What do you think? Are you preparing this way? No, your focus is not this. Your focus is so many things. So we can save a lot of time. So this is a big advantage. And we can exploit this advantage and we exploit this in our class. Okay? So in the classes, I keep on giving you model questions based on my knowledge and my experience and my knack as regards what could occur as a question in future. Plus I keep on giving you all relevant PYQ last 30 years. Because if you work on the relevant PYQ, not all PYQ, relevant one, always a chance a question could occur out of that. So I think this aspect is also very clear. Now the next aspect is requirement of broad chronology. About history, one thing I think you are all well aware, and those who are having history background, they are more aware of that. And mugging up dates and years. What? Yes. And this is a very common and popular approach. I mean, followed by almost all. And all think like you're supposed to mug up dates and years, and it is very important. Without that, you cannot. I mean, excel in history. This aspect is related to that. See, requirement of broad chronology. Now what I want to say is that there is no need to cram dates and years. This absolute wastage of time. I'm giving logic behind that. See, history is all about dates and years, of course, yes. I have said history is the record of past events. So timeline is very important in history. History is full of trends. Okay? Suppose trend of society, trend of art, trend of literature. This involves timeline. When timeline is there, chronology is there. Chronology means dates and years are there. Alright? Okay. But here, while writing answers in history optional subject, what you require is the broad chronology. For example, an event took place in the first half of 19th century. This is broad chronology. Event took place in the second half of 19th century. This is another example of broad chronology. Event took place in the first decade of 20th century. Last decade of 20th century. Mid 18th century. Toward the end of 17th century. In the beginning of 16th century. This approach you have to follow. Now, one thing very important. In writing answers in history, you must mention chronology. That is a value addition. Otherwise, that becomes a story. You must mention chronology. That will add to your marks. This is important. I mean, this is considered better answer writing when chronology is there. But chronology doesn't mean exact date any. Broad. I've given the idea of broad. Beginning of 19th, end of 19th, first decade of 19th, last decade, mid of 19th, first half, second half, this one. Plus second thing, all the important dates and years you will remember automatically. What I am saying is, there's no need to mug up. Automatically you will remember. For example, why? How you will remember automatically? Because you will come across so many dates and years so many times in the classes, while going through notes, while going through books. For example, automatically you will remember. Don't you think you remember the date of independence of India, 15th August 1947? Do you think you have to cram it? No. Do you think you will have to cram your date of birth? Of course, no. This means all important dates, all serious or sincere kind of students, they remember automatically. So many dates and years we will automatically remember, but you don't do it consistently. That is a wastage of time. Plus, where you don't remember, you have to use broad chronology. What I have said. This will also save a lot of time. Now, talking about history in GS. History in GS main approach is the same. Use broad chronology. First half of 19, second half of this way. Now come to history in GS. Many things in history in GS require knowing a lot of dates. No. In general, if you have a look at the history question in GS, you will never find any question on dates and years nowadays. In old days, I mean 15, 20 years back, these kind of questions used to occur. Nowadays, there is no such question. At the most, you have questions on chronology. Suppose 4 events are given, you have to set that in chronological order. That this event took place first, then second this, third this. For this, there is no need to cram dates and years. Rather, there is a need to know the broad chronology. Okay, this took place in the first half of 19, this in the second half of 19, with the mid 19. If this knowledge is there, this is enough. This means not in GS Prelim, not in GS Main, and of course not in history optional. Cramming of dates and years are important. And under this, just a minute, 2 things. One, All important dates and years you will remember automatically, because you will be coming across them many times in the course of your preparation. And second, broad chronology is required. Yes, you are asking something. Mhm. This is what I'm saying. Suppose Bolshevik Revolution, okay? Bolshevik Revolution occurred in 1917, okay? But in your case, what will happen in the class, going through the notes and books, in the class at least 50 times, no, you will hear, just not 17. October, November 1917, October, November 1917, Bolshevik Revolution, October, November 1917, October, November, Lenin, October, November. So 30, 40, 50 times you listen, automatically this will be there in your mind. Just not year, even month. Like in Russia, one more revolution took place before that. That was also in 1917, February, March revolution. So many times you will listen, I mean, me saying, February, March revolution, this happened, February, March revolution, February, March revolution. And then when you read notes, February, March revolution, you will study books, February, March revolution, automatically that is there in your mind without cramming it. So my point is, you will automatically become precise. I mean, there shouldn't be any conscious effort for that. I mean, you sit and cram the dates and years. It's a wastage of time. And precise dates you will automatically remember, because you will be coming across those dates so many times in the class, in the book, in the notes. So don't cram that, because once you get involved in cramming, no, it becomes a Herculean task. Even I say it becomes suicidal. It's like committing suicide, cramming all dates and years. There are millions. And there is no need. What the need of that? In planes, you don't have such question. Main GS and history optional, your approach is you should know broad chronology, you should mention. And all important years, and like I have said, Bolshevik Revolution, not only year, even months you will remember. There is no worry for that. Is it okay? Right. So this is about requirement of broad chronology, you understand. Now the next is helpful in all stages of CSE, that is Civil Services Exam. Just now I have said that history is a record, a systematic record of past events. Okay? Now, what past events? What do you think? Event related to every aspects of human life. If I say history is past records of development of art. So you agreed? Okay. If I say history is the past record of development of political system. History is the past record of development of literature. History is the past record of development of technology. History is a past record of development of administrative system. This means the history is history of everything. History of society, history of economy, history of political system, history of rulers, history of administrative aspects, history of art and architecture, history of literature, history of religion, history of culture, history of everything. I hope you're getting my logic, right? How does this help you? Then you have accumulation of a huge knowledge of all aspects of human life in the past. This means this create a great awareness. And this great awareness and this accumulation of a huge knowledge, this helps you in overall preparation of civil services exam. Because say, in this exam, you cannot qualify just by cramming things and getting the things by heart. A lot of great awareness is required, great knowledge is required, analytical skill is required, communication skill is required that you have to show in your writings and all. And pattern is such today. So in this case, what happens that in creation of great awareness about, because once you study history very well, you come to know about everything about human life in the past, as I have said, maybe society, economy, technology, administration, political system, art, culture, whatever. Now this helps you, you never take any notice of it. Sometimes what happens that you never take any notice because you don't do it consciously. But that knowledge is getting accumulated. Plus, awareness is becoming higher. And this eventually helps you. This helps you in essay writing because essay writing is not something fact-oriented. This is the game of ideas. And this great awareness, what history creates, this played a very significant role. Because great awareness creates great ideas also. And those great ideas get reflected when you write essays. Personality taste. Personality taste is what? Personality taste is personality taste. And personality, and this is not a taste of knowledge. And personality has certain facets. One facet is great awareness and great ideas. So the person well aware and has organized ideas means that person is having a good personality. And that is one part that is tested also. So this helps you there as well. Then history is in preliminary. I think around 15 questions are there in preliminary exam out of history. That helps you there. History is in GS main. First see the first paper you have history. All history optional is there in GS paper 1. Then in second paper, in the polity part, you have constitutional history. That is connected here. Constitutional history is the way the constitution was framed. Then in second paper, you have IR. Their history is involved. History provides you all background. Maybe Indo-Pakistan relation or whatever. In third paper, you have economy. So history of economic development after independence, 5-year plan, so many things. History is connected there. History is connected to internal security in the third paper because there also background becomes important. For example, Naxalism. So the whole story becomes important to understand Naxalism. Come to fourth paper, GS, that is ethics, integrity, aptitude. There you have moral thinkers, philosophers, reformers. So many you study in history like Gandhi, it may be Ambedkar, it may be Buddha. I hope you understand. So this way, history, as I have said, history is the past record of all aspects of human life. And this creates a great awareness in you without you taking any notice of it. And this great awareness creates great ideas as well. And these get reflected when you write an essay. These get reflected when you appear before the interview board without you taking any notice of it. Besides, in the prelim and main, history is also involved. So this way, this helps you. This is why I am focusing on this also, that you take the advantage of all these things. I mean, you should be aware that how this great awareness, creating great ideas that help you in personality taste and in essay writing. So once you are aware of it, you will be using it consciously also. So impact would be still greater. Is it okay? So this is all about helpful in all stages of civil services exam. And this is the till here, whatever I have discussed. Do you have any query? I mean, related to this one? Related to this one? Related to this, 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 and this. So those who came late, we started here. First I discuss history optional subjects is what all. Okay. Then I compared it with GS history. Okay. Then I focused on this absence, a big advantage. Then I focused on this absence. This is another big advantage. Then I focus on this. This is still another big advantage. And through this, I have given you the idea that in history, in every topic, there are some specific standard issues, and only they occur as a question. And this is a focus in our class here. And then I ensure also that once you cover everything, you will find that out of that, you have almost all the questions, but at least 5 must be there. But many years, even last year, you must be knowing the question pattern, I think. 8 questions are there, 5 you have to attend. But in 8 also, you have like A, B, C, D, A, B, C, this kind of, okay. So if you bifurcate, so many questions are there. So even last year, so many things we have discussed in the class, and out of that, almost all questions were there. This means the people had the choices, whether to write this or whether to write that. So how does this happen? This cannot happen if I don't have any idea of those specific standard issues. Since this idea is there, and we focus in the class on that, and we focus on how to write beautiful answer on those, so that plays role. And now I'm going to discuss and then I've discussed this finally, and now I'm going to discuss the class pattern. Class pattern means the class pattern here in NEXT IAS. See, certain things are mentioned. Do you get them? Certain things I have already discussed. So class pattern simply means, because you should be aware of this in the open session also, because many of you are having planned to join. See, yes, you have any question? Yes. Yes. Now one thing. Before this, before we start this, do you have any query? Yes. Any query you can ask me. Yes. Marking the history. Okay. So have you asked this question to your university teacher? No, but have you asked any teacher कि why sir I have written such a good answer, why you have given average mark? ऐसा आपने पूछा किसी से, कभी ट्राई किया? See, there is a question for the online, those who are attending online. There is a question here from the class. That question is that the person who has raised the question is having history background, so bachelor's in history. So what he is asking is, in university, many a time he wrote good answers, but the marks what he got was very average. So I'm asking him one question, that did he ask this question to the teachers? So you asked, so they said what? No definite reply. But the point is, say, in history is subjective, you mean, okay? But the same is in pol science, same is in sociology, same is in PubAd. You forget economics and mathematics is different. So you compare history, geography, PubAd, pol science, sociology. So have you seen in university that those having sociology, they used to get good marks? आपको ऐसा लगा कि जो हिस्ट्री में लिखते हैं उन्हें एवरेज आता है, जो सोशियोलॉजी में लिखते हैं उन्हें ज्यादा मार्क्स आता है, ऐसा लगा आपको यूनिवर्सिटीज में? व्हाट यू आर आस्क? No, economics, okay, economics is slightly different. That is more objective. Economics, mathematics, science subject, they are more objective. Like history. पॉल साइंस वालों को भी वैसे ही मार्क्स आता था जैसे हिस्ट्री में आता था, एवरेज. ओके. सो व्हाट आई वांट टू से हियर इज कि दीज काइंड ऑफ सब्जेक्ट like pol science, history, sociology, PubAd, geography. So at the university level, no, they have one specific approach to give marks. So normally they give average mark. Now, when you shift to the science, where you have more objectivity, science subject, mathematics, economics, there will find people get slightly higher marks. Is it okay? If you move to literature, English literature, Hindi literature, there you will find they get even lesser mark than what history people get. So this is because of the degree of objectivity. So if you move this way, humanities, literature, like Hindi, English, etc., humanities, science. So this is an ascending order. So higher marks you will get in science than humanities, and higher you will get in humanities than literature. This is a normal trend, I think, in universities, and this is because of the degree of objectivity involved. But here, what I think, on the basis of my experience when teaching for the last many years, that here it is objective. Of course, I won't be saying this is highly objective, but still, the pattern is more or less reasonable pattern, and UPSC takes a lot of care that objectivity has to be maintained. And in giving marks, I should give you a brief knowledge of how marks are given in optional subject. So in optional subject, for every optional, experts are chosen by UPSC, and they're all university professors. And they keep on changing. Suppose for 2 years, Calcutta University professors, for 2 years, next 2 years, DU, for next 2 years, JNU, next 2 years, Usmania. This way they keep on changing. So again, your same professors are involved in giving marks. Okay. But the difference is what? In a university exam, there is no any specific criteria created by university, how marks to be given. Here UPSC creates some criteria. Broad guidelines are there. And even answer formats are also created. And they are instructed that they have to give marks on the basis of this criteria. So, just a minute, I will come to you. So, a greater objectivity is there in comparison with the university exams. Then what happens, that is the reason you will find that here, you will find those who are writing good answers, they get even 320, 330 in this subject, pol science, history and all. But since here criteria is also very tough here, very rigid criteria is there, that's why normally in humanities you don't find that people, humanities means all popular subjects, pol science, sociology and all, that people don't get very high marks like 350, 360, 370. But these kind of marks sometimes you find in science subject because higher degree of objectivity is there. I think I have answered your question. Okay. So here one thing I want to tell you that you don't have to worry about this because here some objectivity is there. Okay. Of course, since experts examine, history professor will examine and he is a knowledgeable or she is a knowledgeable person. So his or her wisdom also works while giving marks, but a fixed criteria is also he or she has to follow. One more thing. Earlier, UPSC used to send copies, answer books to professors' place. Suppose Delhi to Hyderabad, Osmania University professor. Now the system is different. That is also again to make it more objective. Now they are invited here. They have to stay here for a fixed, suppose 7 days stay, 5 days stay. During those 5 days, they in the UPSC house, they evaluate on the basis of fixed criteria or parameters. So objectivity is slightly greater. But that criteria is very rigid and high standards are to be followed. So if you write very general answer here, you won't be getting a mark. That's why I have said in the class there is a focus on answer writing, not answer writing in general, what you find test series and all. Rather, how to write highly specialized answer, what the demand is. And if you write highly specialized answer, that means we can expect 6 to 7 out of 10. And if you get 6 to 7 out of 10, you make sure you are getting 300 plus. And once you are getting 300 plus, make sure you are qualifying. So your target should be around 300 in optional and you will get it. Now, how to achieve the target of 300? Two things are very important. One, question should occur out of what you have prepared. This was very important in school days also. Don't you think in school days also, the question you prepared and that occurred, you wrote very good answer. Same thing is applicable here also. But here questions are very typical. But in history, there is one scope, focus on the specific standard, and there is nothing new that could be created here. So we can take the advantage of that. And second, writing highly specialized answer. So if two conditions you fulfill, that you focus on all specific standard issues related to every topic, like I have said, 10 in Gandhi, 10 in Jawaharlal Nehru, 10 in Revolt of 1857, etc., etc. And you develop the idea how to write a specialized answer. In the classes, what we do, I give you the idea of how to write a specialized answer in order to get 6 to 7 out of 10. Sometimes I dictate you. Sometimes I show, make diagrams on the board. Through diagrams, I show a highly specialized answer. Then I invite you to answer. You answer. Out of those answers, I select the best answer that could fetch 7 marks. And that answer I distribute among them. These things we keep on doing the whole course for 6 months, 5 months. So of course, through these, in this long period, 5 months, 6 months, you become expert in writing very good answer. I hope you're getting my point. All right? Yes. No, that depends on two things. Your knowledge and second, the knowledge of the pattern of the question. I mean, knowledge of the topic, suppose Mahatma Gandhi. So knowledge of that. And second, the pattern of question on Mahatma Gandhi in Civil Services Exam. So for you people, this is slightly difficult because knowledge has certain limitations. Knowledge of pattern of question has certain limitations. But I'm there in the classes. I will bring this before you. I will tell you, okay, Mahatma Gandhi. So one standard issue is this. Second is this. Third is this. Fourth is this. Fifth is this. Over. And all the 5 I discuss. On all the 5 I give you notes. Sometimes I dictate. All the 5 I explain. And I tell you on all the 5 how question could emerge. And then we start answer writing on them. So you don't have to do it, anything from your side. So your work in the class is only to follow and work hard. Is it fine? Okay, so anything else before I tell you about this? Yes?
The amount of syllabus which we have to cover and the reward we get as marks is very imbalanced now. Like even after the amount of syllabus we have to cover,
Uh-huh.
still people not like that but still like जितना हमें syllabus पढ़ना पड़ता है उतना से we don't get ready.
Okay, so one question asked here, so for the online student, that you have to study a lot, but in return, you don't get very high marks. Weightage of the syllabus. Syllabus is big, and the amount of labor you put, so accordingly, your return is not there. Okay? Now, here very simple logic is there. I have said, when we prepare so many things unnecessary, the wastage of time. History syllabus is not all that vast it appears if you know what to prepare. If you go through the syllabus word by word and prepare, it becomes again suicidal. Not for history, for any optional subject. Some syllabus appears to be very big, like anthropology, pol science. Now, you consider the syllabus big or small on the basis of how much space it covers. That is also not the right criteria. Sometimes, see, I'm telling you. See the history syllabus defined in GS. Suppose world history in GS, what is mentioned? World history in GS, what is mentioned? Major events from 18th century, such as colonialism, world wars, capitalism, etc. Over. World history syllabus is over. How much space is has taken? 2 lines. When you consider this syllabus, it appears you can cover this in 1 day. Same syllabus is in history optional also, but that is well defined. This takes this much space. This much space. This is well defined. How? First World War, causes, this Second World War, this French Revolution, this. Same syllabus in 2 lines, same syllabus this much. So on this basis, I can convince that see, this syllabus is very big, this is very small. But if you apply your logic, this is not the case. The same syllabus. For example, suppose Indian National Movement, for example, right? In the case of Indian National Movement, we can present syllabus this way. Indian National Movement, 1885 to 1947. Over, syllabus is over in 1 line. If you present the breakup, Indian National Movement, Foundation of Congress, Swadeshi movement, this movement, Mahatma Gandhi, this will become big. Same syllabus will become big. So it depends on how syllabus has been presented. And for this also you should have one knowledge. How syllabus is defined by UPSC. UPSC appoints expert committees. Expert committee of pol science, history, anthropology, sociology, and expert members are there. Now, every committee has a different approach. Some present in a very lengthy way, a lot of breakups are there, this. Some just give the broad line. Suppose you write Buddhism and Jainism, 1 line syllabus. Second way to present is Buddhism, origin, Buddha, his teachings. It becomes lengthier. Jainism, Mahavira, his biography, his teaching, impact of Jainism, Jaina art, it becomes lengthier. But even in this case, when Buddhism and Jainism, only these 2 words are there, everything you have to study. Rather, this is better, it is well defined. So what I want to say, history syllabus is not all that big. Breakups are there, one thing. And it depends how the expert committee has presented. So syllabus of some optional subject appears very small, like philosophy, for example. Philosophy takes this much space. Why? It is mentioned like this. Buddhism over, Jainism over. In history, it's like Buddhism, Buddha, rise of heterodoxy, teachings, impact. I hope you're getting my logic. Now, second thing. When people study history optional subject, they study in general. We should have in mind that our only focus is to get 300 plus. Our only focus is to become an IAS through history. And for that, only two things are required. Focus on the specific standard issues and focus on developing the skill to write highly specialized answer. That's it. So if you focus on specific standard issues related to all topic, so this much syllabus becomes this. I'm giving an example. Revolt of 1857, popular topic. Independence of India, popular topic. Mahatma Gandhi, popular topic. Many popular topics we'll find. People study so many things, unnecessary. I have said, independence of India, just 2-3 standard issues are there over. One, historiography is there. Two, circumstances leading to. That's all, over. If these two specific you focus, all question will occur. This may, if this is the whole syllabus, if you know exactly how to get 300 plus being focused, syllabus becomes this. But since this idea is badly missing in the market, so people keep on working on the whole. And here, then 50-60% of things become useless. I'm giving you some example. If you have a look at the syllabus, they have mentioned roads. In medieval India, they have mentioned Mughal times, roads, ports, customs. People study. My point is useless. You will never have a question on roads, ports, customs, etc. But writing all these things, they are making syllabus bigger. We should know Mughal means what all we have to focus, and out of that, all question would be there. And economy also doesn't mean economy overall. Economy what? I mean focused. Like we should know. I'm giving some example. Mughal. So we should know. We should focus one standard issue. Business practices. This could be a question. Second standard issue. Nature of Mughal state. Historiography. Third. Historiography of decline of Mughal. This way, no, you have certain specific issues. If we cover all these specific issues, the Mughals mentioned in the syllabus is this much. This takes this much space. That becomes this. And out of this, all questions would be there. Out of the rest, nothing occurs. Because these are roads, ports, and customs and all. I have seen people working on all Mughal emperors, rulers. It's useless. Only a few rulers' policy could be a question. That's all. Suppose if you work on latter Mughals, after Aurangzeb, many Mughal rulers were known as latter Mughals. Out of that, no question will occur in history of. But people study. So that is wastage of time. So this is what I want to say. That you should be awakened to the idea that how to become an IAS through history optional. That means how to focus in history optional preparation. How to eliminate irrelevant things, unwanted things on which no question occur, and past year questions also. So if you have a look at the last 50-60 years question, no such questions have occurred on roads, customs and all. This is what confirms what I am saying. Plus, on the basis of knowledge also you logically think. How question could be there on roads? How question could be there on ports? Question could be there on external trade. In external trade, of course, one paragraph is on port. Simple. Getting my point? So here you make sure that this much syllabus becomes this much if you know exactly what to prepare and what not, and be focused. You have to be focused. And you know, here whatever issues are there, how to write highly specialized answer. That's it. Okay? And so many things what I have discussed, I mean, answering your questions and even earlier, that is what is mentioned. So class C, every teacher has a specific way to teach. My way is where just one focus is there. How to become an IAS, that's it. I don't have any intention of making you a researcher and a teacher of history and all. My only purpose is to teach you in such a way so that many questions are there in the exam out of what you have prepared. And you know how to write a specialized answer over. So for that what I do is, one, I focus on concept definition and timeline. Because if first is perfect, if this is perfectly all right, this helps you write highly specialized answer. Okay? To focus on a standard issues of every topic. This is what I have discussed just now. I've given you so many examples also. So in every topic, this is the focus. The moment we start a topic, our focus is this. We start Indus Valley civilization. So I keep on telling you, okay, Indus Valley civilization, one issue is this, second, third, fourth, okay? Ah, yes, you are asking something. Ah, yes, something you were asking, yes. And syllabus, it takes about 6 months. About 6 months means sometimes 5 months, sometimes 5.5, but never beyond 6. It may be within that. It depends on the batch also. No? Sometimes what happens, batch is very fast. Very fast means because the class is of higher standard. Higher standard means these are requirement. Our only focus should be civil services exam, nothing else. Agree? Naturally, a standard is high. So don't you think the class standard should be also at par with the UPSC questions? Only then you can answer them. For example, I teach you Champaran Satyagraha of Mahatma Gandhi, Kheda Satyagraha of Mahatma Gandhi. I teach you Ahmedabad Satyagraha of Mahatma Gandhi. I teach you biography of Mahatma Gandhi. Do you think this will help you qualify? No. So I should teach you standard issues related to Mahatma Gandhi, what I have said. So naturally, they are of higher standard, so that needs explanation. You will have to also exert yourself. Suppose you don't have to exert in order to know Champaran Satyagraha of Gandhi, but you will have to exert in order to know Gandhi restrained mass movement, and yet he was popular. I hope you understand. So it takes some time. Sometimes what happens, the students are faster and understanding things faster way, so class becomes fast. And plus, answer writing approach is what? The moment we finish first topic, we start answer writing. Like this session, what we're beginning in June, we'll be starting with ancient Indian history. Then we'll shift to medieval, then modern, then world. So in ancient Indian history, the moment we finish first topic, we start answer writing. Answer writing means I give you ideas, I give you model questions, past year questions. I discuss answer formats, highly specialized answer, how to write, what to avoid. And then I invite you to write, show me. And today the way I came before the time, so every day I come like this. I never sit outside, straight away I come here. I discuss with you, I check your answers, this with you personally, one-to-one and all. Okay? So this way, so this also takes some time. Sometimes students are faster, sometimes slightly slow. So even the slowest batch, no, will be taking maximum 6 months. Something more you will asking, yes? Yes, yes. If history is new, but what I have said you, I hope you remember. Whole history you are doing in GS. दिस इज व्हाट आई हैव डिस्कस कि जीएस और हिस्ट्री में क्या फर्क है वो आपने समझ लिया होगा वो शुरू शुरू में ही मैंने बताया है ना तो इवन आप बिगनर हैं सो इट वोंट बी टेकिंग मोर देन 6 मंथ एंड दोज हु आर हैविंग बैकग्राउंड तो आई थिंक दे नीड आई मीन यू आर आस्किंग व्हाट how much time I will take in finishing course or how much time you will be taking after finishing the course. Okay. So the course schedule is what is given on, I mean, officially is 6 months, right? But many a time this is over by the time the 5 months are over. So 5 to 6 months you consider. Okay. Now, during 5 to 6 months, if you work sincerely with the class, so history would be covered during this time. The only thing you need is revision. And revision you have to do after prelim. Suppose 2026 you are right. Suppose. So after prelim you sit and every day you give 2-3 hours for history. Revision will be complete in 2-3 months. And the same time is needed in every, like we have said, you have switched over from some other optional. In every optional law, this is roughly the time needed. In humanities, suppose history, pol science, sociology, in every optional, 5 to 6 months roughly. And if you work very properly, you can complete with the class, with answer writing. After that, the only thing needed is revision. Is it fine? All right. And focus on a standard answer formats I have discussed, that is highly specialized answer. Model questions I have said, keep on giving you model questions during the class. While teaching, I keep on giving you, dictating you, okay, this is one model question, this is one model question that you can use in answer writing practice also. And relevant past year questions I have discussed. The moment we finish one topic or section, I send you all relevant past year question, last 30 years to you. And answer writing and evaluation during the entire course I have said, how do we start and this continues. And this is once the course is over. When the course is over, of course, your problem may be there, some queries may be there, maybe you want answer evaluation again. So this is also there through this email. You can click this so that the email is with you. This email you can use always. In order we can be in touch through this. You can raise any query, any problem. You can send answers. You can get evaluation. Even during the classes and after the completion of the classes. During the classes, since we will be meeting every day, so maybe this is not required, but once the class is over, the whole course is over, then this is the way we can be in touch. Plus, once the class is over, this is the medium to be in touch, right? Second is through phone. Even during the class also, but during the class normally it is not needed. Sometimes what happens, class is over. Sometimes you are away, you are living in some of the cities preparing. Even in Delhi, for example, you don't want to come and waste your time. So just you can send a request on this email. You want to have a talk? So we'll have a talk on phone. So every day I'm having a talk with even the past students. Today also I had a talk with 3-4 students in the morning. So this is the way we can connect. During the course, after the course mainly. So this is all about the class pattern. So this is all about the session today. So in this session, in fact, I have given you some finer aspects, rather not very general, some finer and practical aspects of the nature of history optional subject in civil services exam. I'm not talked about what book to read and so many things what normally people talk about. Rather, I've given you some very finer and practical aspects of the nature of history optional subject and how to approach it and what should be the pattern of the class and why this pattern. I've given the logic behind this also. And I've said in the class, my only focus is that you get awakened to what a specific issues could become a question and get awakened to the idea how to write a specialized answer for getting 7 marks out of 10. Nothing else. Because rest you don't need at all. Suppose I tell you, Indus Valley civilization was the first urbanization, or it represents the first urbanization in India. Okay. But you are not interested, you have not come for this in this class. That knowing the basic things about Indus Valley civilization. That you can do through books also. Though, we will do all the basics. See, first is what? Basics. Every concept. I don't expect you come reading history. No. Even you don't read, you don't have background, you will understand. Even very basic thing. Even I will define what is history also. I have defined today also. I will define what is prehistory. I will define what is proto-history. Even all basic things I will define. So you don't have to worry for that. But once you start, so you try to raise the higher level. Higher level means a specific standard issues related to every topic. And developing this skill. Because without these two, you can never become an IAS. Why? Because most of the question would be out of your reach. You have studied mango, you have studied banana. Question is cauliflower. Getting my point? Yes. You have studied lion and tiger. Question is rat. This is the basic problem people are facing in all optional and GS today. The only solution is, but this solution is there everywhere, but in history this solution is greater because current is not there. Depending on then the teacher's knowledge and his skill and his knack. So once you are aware, okay, that this is the topic American Revolution, so these are their standard issues. Just focus on that. We will do everything about American Revolution. We will discuss causes, impact, everything. But then I will be telling you, but for the exam, this. Normally, how American Revolution is done? People do causes of American Revolution, impact of American Revolution, significance of American Revolution, topic is over. I say topic is not over. These are all basics. Out of this, no question will occur. We will have to study here. American Revolution was a revolution or a war of independence. Give views. You will have to study, do you think American Revolution was a middle class revolution? You will have a question, do you think American Revolution was a sudden movement? So, these are some standard issues. When you work on them, we can make sure question would be there. If question are to be there from American Revolution. And since we have prepared, and since we have worked on how to write highly specialized answer, we will write highly specialized answer. Once we revise well, we will get 300 plus, we will qualify. Is it okay? Anything else you want to ask? Pardon? And see, our approach is what? Our approach is say 3, 4, 5. Once 3, 4, 5 done, and you are open to write answers. You can write 100 answers, I will evaluate. Class test, my personal view is class test is never helpful. This is helpful because class test becomes very conservative, narrow. We should work this way. Class test is like swimming in a well. This is like swimming in the ocean. My view is that is not helpful because through class test, how you can improve? So many issues are there. This way. All standard issues you should know. Okay. Then you should have the idea how to write a specialized answer. This will, all this will take some time. And then you should attempt. Then I will evaluate and we should discuss one to one. In class test, what happened? Teachers comes, test is there, you write. Somebody else examines. You don't know who is examining. Assistants are there. Teachers themselves never examine. Here, I myself will examine. Okay, there's this. I will point out your grammatical mistakes also. Avoid this, even word. And then I will call you. Okay, your answer. We'll sit this way. Face to face, I will discuss. Okay, this you remove, this is okay, this is good, this is. When this way discussion, no, one discussion, 2, 3, 10, 20, then you will realize, yes, now you are expert in writing answers so that you can face 7 out of 10. That's why I avoid. Class test is an easier thing. This is a difficult. But in your interest, this is important, not class test. But through class test, what will happen? Suppose that some section is done, out of that 5 questions should be there. Out of 5, what is the guarantee question would be there? This should be comprehensive. Okay? Anything else? That's all? Okay, so nice talking to you. And all the best for your preparation and finally great success. All the best.